Welcome to this week's edition of Just Ask Freeman with Freeman Owen Jr. Of course, everybody knows Freeman. For 45 years, he has been serving thousands of families, helping them reach their retirement dreams, of course, in the wonderful D.C. area, Maryland, Virginia, and so many other states. He's the creator of Financial Sources, Inc., and as usual, my pleasure. Thank you for having me, sir.
All righty. Thank you for being here. I tell you, it's a privilege. I'd like to start the show. I want to begin with housing again.
Yes, that's where we left off last week.
That's right, because I mentioned a way that it's feasible to have your mortgage paid off as you go into your retirement because of life expectancy. And you don't want to have, I mentioned the fact, you're 90 years old and you got a big house note.
Right.
Something else to consider. What about downsizing or moving to other parts of the country? Or maybe the taxes are lower. Maybe for health reasons, you might want to move to Arizona.
That's right.
Thought I'd throw that in there. But, that's something to consider when we retire is housing cost, the maintenance involved. That's why I said maybe you might want to get downsize a little bit there and enjoy your retirement when it comes to housing expenses. Now, savings, once you're retired, there is no salary anymore. You're living pretty much on a fixed income. That's why I said if you got $250,000, $500,000, $1 million plus, just ask Freeman and claim your spot. Call us at 833-414-7233 and get a tax-efficient plan. Learn how to maximize your Social Security benefits. That's another avenue, of course, that's part of your income-producing assets. So take the time and call us, and we'll go through some very, very important factors. Housing, savings, work-related expenses will no longer be around anymore. You don't have to deal with transportation costs. You won't be stopping off at Starbucks at lunchtime or breakfast or whatever. Those expenses kind of melt away. So what does that do? It provides more discretionary income that you can keep. Vehicles. This is a true experience. Now, you know that automobiles are automobiles, which is a depreciating object. That's the way I look at it. When I ask them, I say, well, any big ticket items that you're going to purchase, say, in the next 2 years? Oh, yes, we're going to get a brand new car. Well, and I ask them, I say, well, if you purchase this automobile, how long will you make the payments on this vehicle? Oh, I got 7 years. I said, well, you're 72.
Right, that's a good point. Why make another big bill you have to pay every month?
Every month, 5 or 6 years. And you now have separated from service. You're no longer working. But if you purchase that automobile prior to retirement, because you'll be putting less miles on that automobile, traveling to work, the maintenance cost is somewhat reduced. I think it's a good idea to if you're going to make a purchase of an automobile, do it before you retire, because vehicles do depreciate. And you may, as a matter of fact, I saw that one of my clients had posted on a social media outlet, they were selling an automobile. They're reducing the number of automobiles. There is no need for 4 and 5 vehicles or 3, just a large number. And then you're paying maintenance plus a car note.
And insurance.
Don't forget auto insurance, which happens to be in the arena of increase.
Right.
So that's something you have to think about. Now, I got to share. This is a personal story. My wife asked me, Freeman, if you would retire from this business, what would you do? Rebecca, I don't see that.
Yeah.
This is a personal thing. I don't see looking out the window say, I'm retired. This is a great business, and I could serve others and have my other agents, of course, they're just hired some new ones in to help me and to help so I can create even more activities. And you out there, you might be thinking about planning more travel extensively, develop your backyard garden, participate in charity organizations. I'll help you think about what you really like to do during your retirement, because here's how I'm going to help you. You're going to tell me, and we're going to dig and dig and dig and find out what you really would enjoy doing. You won't have to get up every morning and go to work and deal with rush hour traffic.
Or begging for time off to take a vacation. That was the worst part for me. I didn't mind going every day. I loved what I did. But having to beg for 2 or 3 days off to take a vacation is what you like to help people not have to do. So a written plan, everything that we talk about and Freeman mentions, when he finds out your goal, your destination, then he reverse engineers how to get you there. Everything you mention is part of a written plan specifically tailored for that individual.
And what you say to play on that, specifically plan. Folks, you want to know how to develop your retirement income, your budget, and the factors I've just discussed? Just ask Freeman. Claim your spot right there, the QR code, or give us a call at 833-414-7233 and get a complimentary consultation, complimentary tax-efficient plan, your Social Security report if you're eligible to receive Social Security benefits once you have separated from service, or even if you're still working. Call us at 833-414-7233 or claim your spot right there, that QR code on the screen, and get your complimentary consultation right here for you. Now, something else I want to mention too, the lifestyle. Your preferred lifestyle.
Right.
Do you want to elevate that lifestyle, or do you want to maintain the lifestyle that you're accustomed to? You know, it boils down to the percentage of your income producing assets that is generated from those assets to dictate the quality of life. That's why I said, if you have $250,000, $500,000, $1 million of income producing assets, we may determine, gee, you only need 60% of your previous income. 80%. Maybe some of you say, well, gee, I need 100% of what I was earning when Freeman, I need, I had that quality of life, and I don't want to decrease the percentage of my income producing assets to accommodate a lifestyle where I had to just kind of
enjoy less.
Enjoy less. So that's something that you have to consider. And that's something that you and I will discuss when you schedule your complimentary consultation. Just ask Freeman. Claim your spot right there with that QR code. Or Rebecca, what they do, 833-414-7233. That's all they have to do to get a complimentary consultation. And one of the favorite things I like when you say, move away from the box. Would you mind telling folks how that how
sure.
that works?
When we say the big box, it means the big box retailers that are in every city and every corner across America. You think it's safer because they have this giant name that hosts the PGAs and the U.S. Opens and all these things. But the truth is, it's a cookie-cutter approach, A, B, C, or D. And as a holistic financial advisor like wonderful Freeman, he has been for many years doing the opposite. It's a holistic, it's every aspect, Medicare, taxes, income, it's every aspect, and it's about you because it's personal. All right, stay with us. Give us a call during this quick break to meet the amazing Mr. Freeman Owen. And if you have any questions, jot them down to Just Ask Freeman. We'll be right back.
I focus in on making sure that folks have emergency funds, credit card debt taken care of, no big ticket items to purchase on this journey. I ask them about their health. What role will they play? Do you have siblings? Do you have dependent children? I've had breakout workshops, especially for the young people, so they have financial literacy as they approach even for college. I used to do dinner seminars. I'd invite existing clients to bring people, think about their birthdays and so on. Just people want to know that you are concerned about their best interest, and that works well. It's very, very enjoyable type of work that you can do. And these folks prosper with just a little bit of adjustment to their retirement planning.
Welcome back. Freeman often says, you know, we insure everything, our homes, our cars. Why not insure things like our health in the future, or things like insuring your income? And that's what we talk about. So many people ask you, what if I can't afford a major health disaster? How do you put that into part of our plans?
Okay, well, what we do is we have to set aside funds for that. We're going to need protections during retirement. Medigap insurance. Medicare does not cover everything.
Okay.
We're going to need, as you mentioned, automobile insurance. We're going to need homeowners insurance, long-term care. We have to take into account of these premiums may increase to some degree. And the older you get, maybe even for life insurance, you'll pay a higher premium at 65 as opposed to a person who's 45. So we got to consider protection cost and healthcare costs. Even with the best plan, you still have to consider that I just mentioned that Medicare does not, and Medigap, or I should say Medicare, does not cover all of the increases in healthcare. With the Medigap coverage, there could be increases in that. I've seen it happen. Because I had mentioned the Medicare Part B on one of our shows, where there may be an additional cost referred to as IRMA, which is a significant increase in healthcare costs. So we have to prepare for healthcare, of course, and this face reality, is going to outpace inflation. That's inevitable. We've seen it over the years. We've seen it over the decades. The protection costs, there's a price, all righty? Then, and also, this is very important. Sometimes, I call it, when you're supporting a family, and I've seen this in many cases, that some of our, maybe we have a child or grandchild that maybe is not prepared per se, and I call it the failure to launch. So
like the movie with Matthew McConaughey.
Yep. They can't quite get out there independently yet. So what happens to the retiree? You're not going to put your kids out in the street or whatever, but what you'll do is you'll help them, and there's a pull from your retirement assets. This is a true story. I was a sophomore in the economics class and at the university there, and one of the professors, this professor said, you know, kids, one day you're going to retire. Well, you're 19 years old. You're not thinking about retirement.
I'm just getting started.
That's it. You got other thoughts. So at that point, he paused and says, now, there may come a time where your children or your grandchildren can drain your assets. I've seen it happen with a couple of clients I had early on in my career. There was a gentleman that more or less was very dependent, and literally until we had to make this buck stop there, right here, where there was a pull of $50,000 per year for 2 straight years out of a parent's retirement account, $100,000 of taxable income. And so we got to the third year, and this person wanted to come, and I talked to the client. I said, ma'am, I know that you love your son, but you can't have a continuation of withdrawals from your IRA. We set this up years ago because over the last 2 years, that was a $100,000 taxable withdrawal on you. Right. And she didn't think about it until I really hit her between the eyes with that.
Yeah.
She said, oh, that's true. I love him. Yeah, I know you do, ma'am, but you have to live. You're moving into your 70s, and you need to make let me do a sidebar.
Yeah.
I have a relationship with my clients. And like I mentioned in one show, I said, if I'm sitting on the other side, if my parents are sitting on the other side, would that person take a special interest in my parents, elderly couple, who have assets? Would that person or advisor take the time and tell them, look, you're moving into a dangerous position now? So
that's a hard conversation, but it takes someone like you who is willing to have those hard conversations.
Exactly.
Because she would have run out of money and compounding her loss. So she's paying taxes on $100,000, compounding her loss. She's getting no gains on that $100,000.
That's right.
So her yield is just going down.
So
did she have a nice to the end? Let's take your advice.
Well, she did.
Good.
And she did not have to work beyond her, well into her 70s, trying to acquire a contract to regain the distributions from her IRA.
Yeah.
Because it was like she didn't think about it too much. She just, I'm gonna need a withdrawal. Right. How much? 50,000 tax. I said, whew. So we stopped in that second year because after that second year, because 100,000, she had a substantial amount of income producing assets, but the pull from that and reducing the possibility of having those funds run out, I thought about it. I said, this lady's almost 70-some years old, and that has to stop. So when you retire and you're developing your retirement income budget, do you have, or you're responsible and support any family members? Will that continue beyond retirement? I mean, will that continue during your retirement, I should say?
Yeah.
Well, folks, if you want some answers, just ask Freeman. Claim your spot right there. That QR code is available for you, and get your complimentary consultation. With that consultation, a tax-efficient plan.
Very important.
Very important. And in this case, I did help the lady get her Social Security benefits at age 70, which was that was part of the plan too, but not the draining and depletion of her lifetime or her nest egg, which we had calculated to last longer than herself. So that was just a personal thing that I could correlate with that professor telling me at 19 years old, and I'm not thinking about no retirement, but in real life, that occurs when you have family members that you're supporting, and it does reduce your retirement income.
And it just goes to show you that is one of the many, many, many things that Freeman thinks about that I'm sure for most of you have never been spoken to about those things. Anything we speak about resonates with you, you definitely need to just ask Freeman. Use this quick break, snap that QR code, get in our schedule, and we'll be right back.
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. After nearly a lifetime on the job, you should be rewarded for all the time you spent working. Whether that's crossing off items on your bucket list, learning a new passion, or rekindling the love of an old one. After all, life isn't over when you stop working. It's the start of an all-new chapter. The one where you're the writer and you get to choose how your story will go. A way to achieve that is by having a clear financial plan to sustain your golden years. The biggest fear most retirees have is if they'll have enough money to maintain the lifestyle they've always enjoyed. Having a plan to help protect you against the curveballs life often throws will help to maintain your lifestyle. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Welcome back to Just Ask Freeman. We bring up so many topics that maybe no one has ever asked you about. We're going to move on now to creating a retirement paycheck. When you retire, you still need to pay your bills. Do you know where your income will come from? Where do you start, Freeman, when you start talking about our retirement paycheck creation?
Periodic withdrawals.
Okay.
We have to make sure that we do not withdraw a high percentage to the point that later on those funds could disappear. See, there's a lot of dynamics to this. We have to have a percentage in which I calculate using software, state of the art, to develop, again, tax efficient plan to lay out a certain percentage that you should take out of your retirement income or your income producing asset and have those funds last longer than you. And why not pass on the legacy to your loved ones? So I think down the road here, out of the box.
Absolutely.
All righty. And folks, if you need a plan here, just ask Freeman. Claim your spot there, the QR code right there. Periodic withdrawals are very important to you. And with that tax efficient plan, you'll see the percentage that will safely take you to the type of income that will last longer than you. That is a very important question. Will my assets last longer than me, Mr. Owen? Will I outlive my assets? What can I do? I need to create, as you had mentioned on many shows, a retirement check. Tax-deferred plans. Now, you've seen my text, 10 IRA mistakes, all right? I like for my folks to get a copy of that when they become a client. The top 10 IRA mistakes and how to avoid the tax traps during your retirement. Simple, easy read, and it's free to you when you become a client. So if you have $250,000, 500,000, $1 million plus, we can work with you in developing an income with the correct withdrawal rate, having these assets produce the quality of life that you deserve. It's all about you. And what I do is work diligently to make sure that your retirement income lasts longer than you. I keep emphasizing that. And for your loved ones to receive a legacy. Even though there's new legislation that can impede that, but we can have strategies to avoid costly mistakes. Now, tax-deferred accounts. How do we deal with tax-deferred accounts like 401ks, 403bs, TSPs, thrift savings plans, IRAs? How do we get the distribution from these tax qualified plans? By minimizing our taxes on those distributions. What path should we take to make sure that these funds last longer than you? Just ask Freeman. Schedule a complimentary consultation, just as simple. Get a tax efficient plan. You'll know the legislation and the rules on distribution, because I have the knowledge. What I'll do is impart that knowledge to you. It's important that you have the financial literacy.
That's right.
I know that you're educated, but maybe not privy to the financial literacy that you deserve on the distribution of your nest egg. Another thing to consider is the sequence or how the distributions from your nest egg comes to you. Well, first, you start getting distributions from your taxable accounts. Secondly, we start the distributions from our pre-tax accounts. And lastly, your tax-free accounts like the Roth, You may even consider the tax. We even talked briefly about Index Universal Life, which consists of or have the opportunity to get tax-free distributions, tax-free death benefit. All this is in your consideration of creating a retirement paycheck month after month, year after year, decade after decade. And what do you have to do, Becky?
Just ask Freeman. And a lot of it, you say buy guaranteed income. It's something no one really talks about. Buying guaranteed income, there are major insurance companies that will sell you a product now. They can go through you, obviously. You pick the right one.
Right.
That will guarantee growing, guaranteed lifetime income for the rest of your life. That's peace of mind. That's, what my family did.
That is peace of mind. And when you wake up and you don't have to go to work, you don't have to deal with rush hour traffic, but you know that check is right there every month.
And the tax benefits,
And the
that's
tax
there too. So it all adds up to winning
That's
in your
right.
mind, and it does feel great.
And what's so amazing, I look back in retrospect and I say, well, gee, Rebecca, that's 4,000, over 40-some hundred clients that sleep well at night, knowing that they have guaranteed income. And you know what I always say? I stay right in my lane. That's it.
You do say that. I've heard you tell Miss Carolyn that too. She'll say, you got potential, I just stay right in my lane. I do what I do.
Exactly. So, folks, I don't offer mutual funds and stocks and precious metals and cryptocurrency. You think that I would have the audacity to place your hard-earned income-producing assets over the decades into those type of vehicles? I don't have that for you. So
it's too risky.
It is. I'm not going to put that your funds in subject to market risk. And you're coming to see me. What I do is make sure that your income is in guaranteed programs that provide guaranteed lifetime income. You better claim your spot. Hit that QR code and schedule a complimentary consultation. And I see that I'm looking at the
clock on the
clock
wall.
on the wall right there. It says
ticking.
it's ticking. And it's time for you, Rebecca, to help us close this out in another great week.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for everything. And thank you at home for watching. We love you. Send in any questions you may have. We always say just ask Freeman. As he mentioned, the QR code is right there. His schedule does fill up quickly, but he wants to meet each and every one of you to start your journey on your retirement plan in writing. Here's your homework. Take a magic wand. Close your eyes. If you had that magic wand, what does your perfect retirement look like? Give us a call when you meet with Freeman. That is where he will target to get you to. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.